I'm sorry to say, but the millennials have taken itna bad treatment, and they have always been not so vocal about it. I think the shift of attitude is very important. Like a lot of people are constantly, like talking shit about, like Gen Zs are not good at culture, Gen Zs are lazy. I identify myself as a Gen Z and I'm very proud of it. When you are an entrepreneur, the race is never the same. I mean, everyone comes from a different background, different resources. But at the same time, I feel that not everyone's journey is same. Because not everyone's starting point is same. If you are a person that I need 12 hours of my sleep, I need my lunch on time, I need my breakfast on time, I need my dinner on time, I don't work on weekends, I need minimum 1 month of vacation, then I'm sorry, this is not the thing that you will be suitable for, because building something.
Hello everyone, welcome back to What's the Point. Since we are the youth channel and a lot of our audience is the youth, we understand that, all of us are somewhere, trying to figure things out, like really driven to do something. But what is it like to actually do it? And yeah, that's a journey I think we don't really hear often of. Or even if we do hear it, it's always like, yeah, I've hustled, I've done this, I've done that. But something, like really what it is like to do things all by your own self. I mean, you don't have anyone in your family doing that. And, you're like the first person trying to figure things out differently, not doing the exact same thing everyone else has done. And something with no, prior, I don't know, blueprint for yourself. What is it like to do things in that case? So for that, I have with me Sneha Nair, and she's a young entrepreneur. When I say young, I really mean young. So very young. And she's someone who's been doing it for so long, and at this particular age, figuring things out for herself, moving to a different city and everything, and creating something that I think she's always wanted to. And I would want everyone to be a part of this conversation that surrounds her journey. And hopefully it helps all of you, us, everyone, in figuring things out and finding out the point of things a little bit better than what we actually have. So please welcome Sneha. Thank you so much for coming on our podcast. And I think I've just said that you are so young and you're creating something of your own. So I would like to tell our audience that Sneha is also a fellow podcaster. And I would like to ask you, Sneha, you run a podcast as well. It's called Smash. And what has your journey been like? Like, what led you to create a podcast?
First of all, thank you so much. Some really kind words there. And though it feels a little awkward and weird to sit here, because
That's
this is
right.
the first time I'm sitting here, but I'm genuinely very intrigued to do this conversation, because I remember we have been having this conversation about doing this podcast for a very long time. For a person who has always been a host, it's kind of interesting to share my side of the story as well. Thank you so much. Some really kind words there. And to start with, for the people who don't know what Smash is basically a youth podcast. We are everything about inclusivity, community. We are everything between creators, brands, events. So this is what defines Smash in a nutshell. So honestly, whatever I just said, if you would have asked me this 2 years back, I would have no clue.
Yeah.
Because I very well remember this whole conversation I and one of my friends were having about lack of space where, we as Gen Zs or we as youngsters could feel, could express, and could actually consume things that is only meant for us. And there has been no particular platform. I mean, yeah, for now I think it's Reddit, but earlier there were no platforms. And I think the sole reason why the birth of Smash came into picture is because we wanted to do something to empower the youth. We wanted to do something which is more expressive, because at that time, I think even currently, it is very fashionable to hate on Gen Zs.
Yeah.
Like a lot of people are constantly, like talking shit about, like Gen Zs are not good at culture, Gen Zs are lazy. But at the same time, me being a huge advocate of what Gen Zs have brought in, what reforms Gen Zs have brought in, I feel like I identify myself as a Gen Z and I'm very proud of it. And I want budding people to also identify themselves as Gen Zs, identify themselves as the future of a nation and do something for it. So I'm not from Bombay and you're also not from Bombay. And amount of people who have come up to me telling that, like how hard it is to, like shift to a completely different city where you know no one, you don't have your friends there, you don't have your family there. At that space we are building a community and people actually feels that they're a part of our family. So I think that is what I've always loved about Smash, though it started as a small podcast because I'm a chatterbox. I love to talk, I love to make new friends, but gradually when I understood what was coming along with it, that just made me fall in love with it day by day.
Yeah. And like you mentioned, you're not from Mumbai, and also I am not from Mumbai. So I think, yeah, that's a very, very amazing concept to, have something or create a community where people or anyone would just feel like, oh, I belong here. This is like a home to me. This is a space where I can connect with people. Because a as a student or even as a working professional, when you move to a different city for your education, anything, it just puts you in such a, I don't know, such a wild space. It's like you have no idea. Sure, you do your research about the city, you check out, okay, these things are there, places to hang out, everything. But when you actually get to a city, what was it like for you? Like, I'm sorry, where are you from originally?
I'm from Nagpur.
Nagpur. So, what has it been like for you to come from a not as big a city or a town place to a metro city and then figure out things for yourself? What was like the first day like, even like arriving in a city like Mumbai?
Okay. So I'll tell you one thing, Nikita. So basically, my mom was a banker.
Yeah.
I have been shifting to different cities throughout my life. I was born in Delhi, then I got shifted to Raipur, then I got shifted to Nagpur, and now I'm in Bombay. So I think I pretty much mastered the whole art of when in Rome, be like Roman. And I think because of that, I was never very stuck with, like living with a set of people.
Right.
Just because I was introduced to so many different kind of cultures, so many different kind of traditions, people with different kind of mindsets. So basically, of course, people from Delhi have a very different mindset. They have a very different culture. When as compared to Raipur, which is a comparatively smaller place, it's the capital of Chhattisgarh. People are more conservative there. People are more held back there. It's a slow city. At the same time, it has that warmth compared to Nagpur, which is more of a political city. So with every city that we jump to, I kind of, started understanding how people are in general.
Yeah.
And I started, like making different kind of friends. So I have seen a lot of people being very particular about the kind of people they surround themselves with. Though I am also very particular about it, but I feel that one should always surround themselves with all kind of people to understand what life is as a whole. I feel like if in case you only see one side of the society or of life, I don't think so you have lived life to your fullest. I don't think so shifting to Bombay was that big of a change. Of course it was for my mother and for me, because I take huge pride in admitting that, like my mother took care of me and I was love bombed by my mother. And when my dad passed away a couple of years back, I think my mom beautifully came in. She took that space. She did not even make me feel like that something was missing. And I think I still am in awe of how beautifully she did that. How effortless it was to, like not express how you're feeling, not take time for your grieving. And suddenly life puts you in a pedestal that you have to take care of everything. Suddenly you're in a spot that you have to take care of your family, your responsibilities. And coming from that background, I think it was very jarring for me to shift to a new city, because somehow or the other way my mom was my responsibility. So as I shared, it kind of put me in the pedestal, because at that same time I have to take care of my mother as well. But I kind of felt this urge of, like discovering myself. Because I have always, of course, parents give you the best life. They want the best for you. But they won't let you struggle. They won't let you make your own mistakes. That is the sad part. And I always wanted to be a person who makes my own mistakes, who understands what I've been doing wrong, who actually identifies everything by myself. So because of that, I felt like it's very important for me to like shift to a bigger city, and I think Mumbai was the deal. So emotionally, it was a bit difficult for my mother to cope up, but gradually it did more good than bad because she also got time to process what has happened. I also got time to reinvent myself, understand what I want to do, which honestly I don't think so I would have understood when I was at home, because I think you have to come out of your comfort zone to
Yeah.
actually understand your maximum potential.
True. I think that's so true. Because every time I think, look back, and I think had I not moved out of my home when I did, or decided to like, so I moved out of my home when I was like, what, 17, 18, something, for studies. Obviously, I moved out for studies because I come from a small town, and obviously, I wanted to go to a city and study better because I don't know. I just thought that it is going to be better options, more exposure, which is not wrong. It was very helpful. The exposure was definitely different than what I would have gotten back at my own hometown. But I think apart from just the exposure for the studying and learning part, what the moving out gave to me was it gave me myself.
True.
It gave me myself because I really was a very protected child, very shy, very, always lived under parents' shadow. And like, yeah, I was that because we are like three siblings, and my parents, obviously, parents have loved, bombed, made our lives too easier and everything. And then you were just moved you move out of your house, and you have to figure shit out for yourself. While yeah, other things are taken care of, like you're a student, your money is taken care of and
Course.
everything. But in a way, you still have to do things on your own, and that really helps one grow. And I think this is something I keep telling a lot of people, all my friends also, who people like who I come across, who are like, living in the city, localites and everything. That was the word I had picked up because I was not a localite. So I've always told people that at least once in your life, you should move out of your comfort zone, go to a different city, or live by yourself. And I think that is when a person really becomes the best version of themselves, because the city, the place just puts you in that position. You have to do things, you have to learn, unlearn, you have to be sad, you have to cry on your own. You will do that multiple times, but you will also stop crying on your own.
And I think I can totally resonate with whatever you said, because it's very important to actually grieve alone, to be happy alone,
Yeah.
to not expect people to always keep celebrating things for you, or when you are sad, someone will carry a tissue for you, because these are some small expectations we start creating for ourselves, which needs to be broken.
Yeah.
And one more very funny thing when you mentioned the local one is that most of my friends are Mumbaikars, and it is bizarre to think how less of a geographical knowledge these guys have, because half of the time they feel that Bombay is the world.
Yeah.
They don't know anything apart from Bombay. Like,
Yes.
I have come across numerous people who are like, what is Nasik? What is
Yes.
Nagpur? Is Kanpur similar to Nagpur? And this is just so surprising for me,
Yeah.
because Nagpur is the third important city of Maharashtra. All of the major political decisions are taken there.
Yeah.
And if you're a person who's living in Bombay, you should be knowing about Nagpur. So I think Bombay people should genuinely come out of their bubble, because you guys are literally living in a big bubble. I'm not even kidding. You
Yeah.
actually need to work on your geographical knowledge.
Yes, very much so.
Because,
This is
of course, Mumbai is a beautiful city to live in, and I have deeply fallen in love with Bombay. But at the same time, you should be knowing what is happening
Yeah.
around you, what is happening in India. You cannot limit your knowledge only to Bombay, and you can call yourself smart or something like that.
Yeah. And I feel like this is a thing with a lot of Gen Zs also. I feel when people say that, oh, Gen Zs don't have the right knowledge, right information, it's because of this that people choose not to look beyond their own world. And it just restricts them. They are restricting themselves, in fact. It's not even someone else doing it to them. But I think if one thing the Gen Zs have to or should do, a lot of them, is that you need to little bit widen your horizon. Look
Very
beyond the city you live in. Look beyond the friend circle you hang out with. Look beyond the I don't know, college you study in, which is something very important, I feel. Do you think, since you've moved so much, and now that you are in Bombay, again in a new city, making your way through life, do you think Smash was born out of this sense that, oh, you wanted to build a community where no matter where you are, it will always hold a place of belongingness?
Absolutely. Honestly, so one thing when what I was very particular about, which I think I spoke earlier as well, is that though I have surrounded myself with all kinds of people to understand what life is and to deeply understand what I want from life, when I came to Bombay, it was vice versa.
Yeah.
I wanted to surround myself with only a particular kind of people because now I had the taste of all of it, and now I know that what is actually beneficiary for me on the longer run. So when I came to Bombay, Touchwood, it was never like I left home
Yeah.
because the roommates I got, like the first moment I stepped in my PG when I was living in Marines, I met Shishti and Riddhi, and I think they're still living with me, and they never made me feel like that I'm living away from home because they made like a small home for me here itself. And then, I mean, like, that is what made me realize is that home is not what is made from bricks.
True.
It is what is made from the people that you have. The kind of love, the kind of compassion, the kind of warmth I got from these people. I got from Shishti, be it Riddhi, be it Varun. I think I kind of started loving myself even more
Yeah.
than what I used to do back at my hometown. And because of that, I understood the importance of having right people around you and great minds around you. And because of that, I thought that, like, let's make Smash more about the community where people could actually talk. So, like, Smash has 1,000 to 2,000 people already. And I would say 800 to 900 people are outstations.
Yeah.
I have always been an extrovert person, but I have come across a lot of people who are very introvertish.
Yeah.
They don't know how to talk. So we kind of are giving them a platform that, okay, we are making a safe space for you. We are making you belong somewhere.
Yeah.
Because when I think my experience with Bombay has been good, but I've also had a lot of friends who have never had good experience when it comes to Bombay. So I just want to, not only Bombay, I think I just want to provide that space to people to actually feel loved again,
Yeah.
to feel at home again, to not rush to home every weekend and actually start enjoying where they're living as well.
Right.
So I think this is one feedback also that we have gotten from our community members is that we love what you are doing. We love how you're, integrating the brands. You're bringing the brand experiences. You are bringing the community experience at the same time. You're doing the podcast as well. So I think we're still figuring out how we would want to navigate the whole community thing. But I think we are largely doing it for how it feels.
Yeah.
And that is a major thing that actually motivates me to actually work on the weekends as well because I have my working weeks.
Yeah.
And on the weekends, when I remember Manvi tells me, okay, this is your itinerary and we have this shoot, I never feel like that I'm doing it forcefully. Sometimes I might feel it for the office, but I never feel it for the Smash because of the faces or because of the things that people have shared with me.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, for those smiles, for those people to make them feel at home again,
Yeah.
I think this is something I'm doing great. And this is something that is bringing smile on someone's face. So I think I should be continue doing it. Monetary is a very secondary thing, but primary thing is if you are actually solving a problem. I think one more thing that I have noticed a lot is that okay, I have always had a huge love for building something, and that is the reason why I'm building what Smash is doing. Other than the community, we also take care of production. We also work with companies, so we are actually building something. But I've also seen a lot of people who are very mad for building something, but at the same time, they are just creating problems of their own and introducing a solution for it,
Yeah.
and then expecting that something should happen. What people really need to understand is we already have enough problems to deal with. This is one thing that I would tell everyone is that if you have a great love for building something, I appreciate the hustle. You have to hustle, of course, but identify the existing problems that we already have in the market rather than creating one and try to solve that. Because I think money, when you're building something, money is very secondary.
Yeah.
People feel that, okay, if I own a startup or if I own a business, money, paisa hi paisa hai, I'll get money. No. I think it's more about if your product is good, if your service is good, if it's something that is actually solving problem on the daily basis, then money will follow. It's
Yeah.
basically that you should have a very strong product model. You should
Yeah.
have a very strong service model. And in service model, you should actually be solving a problem rather than creating a problem and then introducing a solution for it.
Right.
Because honestly, that will work out for a year or two. But after that time, it will fade away. But what is a genuine problem and what is that genuine solution that you are bringing on the table is what matters the most.
True.
And I think that is the main reason why all the young entrepreneurs, like I think Adit Palicha, what he has been doing with Zepto, I'm highly inspired with what he is doing. Though he had a great funding, a great background to do that, but at the same time, that fuel, that hustle to achieve something with players like Swiggy and Zomato, Dipinder Goyal, and what Swiggy people are doing is commendable.
Yeah.
And not only him, I think Snapper, and there are so many different kind of young entrepreneurs coming in with bringing real problems on the table. Who would have thought 3 years back that you could actually book your groceries in 10 minutes?
Yeah.
Who could have thought that I can actually book a homemade, which is genuinely a problem? I think you would relate to it, I would relate to it, and thousand other people
Yeah.
who live away from their home would relate that Maidska is the genuine problem.
It is.
Not getting groceries at your home is a genuine problem. And these guys have actually solved something great, and that is why the numbers are so good.
Right. So I think a lot of times when Gen Zs or young people, when they are, getting into creating something, building something, becoming an entrepreneur, having a startup, it's mostly stemming from an idea of, oh, you know what, if I get my own startup, if I have my own startup, I'll be the boss of me. I will.
Yeah, that ownership.
Yeah, it's very much from a place of ownership. I'll be the boss of me. Paisa hi paisa hoga, because no one decides my salary. I will be earning. I'll be, like generating
I won't
revenue
have
and
any
everything.
boss calling me up and
Yeah.
giving me task.
Yeah, and I'll work on my terms. So I think those are very wrong ideas to build something on. And I feel when a young person is already building something like this, and when it comes from someone like you, who's so new, so young, and really identified what needs to be done and what not, it's very commendable. And I think
Thank you.
any young entrepreneur who's looking to get into this space, I think these are the things you have to look out for, guys. Please hear it from someone from among yourself. So yeah, that's very commendable. And since you've been doing this for a while, Sneha, I would also want to ask you, do you ever worry that, like we mentioned, you've come from a different city, away from your family, and now you're building something of yourself? Do you sometimes or ever feel like, or get scared that, oh, it is going to move you away from your home, or really change your view of home, and this will just become your life?
See, honestly, it has changed my view of home.
Yeah.
I do remember that now if my mom calls me home, I do call her here and telling her that, okay, mama, this is home, you come here. Because I think for me, my home is my mother.
Yeah.
And I feel that rather than going home, I could actually call my home here and make a small home. And I think that is what I've been telling her from couple of years, that, like, you are my home, come here,
Yeah.
we'll live together, something like that. So I think my definition of home has drastically changed.
Yeah.
For me, earlier it was the family, or, like those bricks and walls. But now I have truly understood how it feels to be at home. I've truly understood how it feels to be at home inside yourself.
Yeah.
So I think I was never at peace when I was at home. I was constantly insecure about myself. I never had the confidence, though I was very extrovert from the start. But something was lacking. So I think when I shifted to Bombay, my definition of home changed. My viewpoint of how I should be, like understanding if I need to keep certain things in my life or not changed. And that actually changed me also as a person.
Yeah.
So earlier I was a very tomboyish kind of person. But now I have, like as I mentioned, the importance of surrounding yourself with great people. Now I have my home here.
Yeah.
My self-made home, to be honest. I have never been more in touch with my feminine side than ever. I feel more like a girl.
Yeah.
I never see it as a disadvantage. I see it more as an advantage. I feel that I'm capable of emotions. I'm capable of giving the warmth. I'm capable of so many different things. I remember every time I get in a conversation with any person right now, I somehow the other way kind of tell them to go, if in case you have women in your life, you're very blessed.
Yeah.
And that also stems down because of the great women I have had in my life. So I think the whole definition of home has changed for me, and it has changed for the good. And now I think I'm more into the concept of I'll make home with my chosen family. I think that is what has changed, and I'm very grateful that it happened.
Yeah. But other than that, since we move out and we learn these things, we grow with different people and we surround ourselves with different people, do you ever feel like your family or your mom, your family back home, like
Right.
where you come from, still sees you as this person who left home because they've missed out on this growth, not missed out on purpose or anything, but obviously you are in a different
They've not
situation.
been there.
They've not
No.
been there. They've not seen the change happen.
True.
So do you think they still see you as that little girl who was living
Don't
with them?
get me started on that. I still remember when I came, when I was just about to shift to Bombay,
Yeah.
all of my family members told me that, okay, I had no clue how to cook. I did not know anything about electricity, what is ration, I had no clue about it. How to book an Ola or Uber, no clue about it. And my mom was pretty sure she actually made a deal with me that you're gonna be back in a year. She was so confident about it, and the change that she saw,
Yeah.
she's still not able to process it. That now I can cook. Now
Yeah.
I know what is Adani power and what is the other power and what is the electricity bill.
Yeah.
Now I know what is the ration and if ordering it from Blinkit or DMart will make a difference.
Yeah.
She's a little surprised to see this change, but at the same time I feel like my mom as a person and my family in general has started respecting me a lot.
Yeah.
I think of course, when you are at home, you are that kid, you are that nutcut kid who just, does the galtiyan and your parents are like, koi baat nahi, you're a bacha, you'll do nothing about it. But when you go out, when they see you making mistakes and rectifying it yourself and not taking help of anyone else, that actually makes your family member start to respect you.
Yeah.
And I think that respect factor was so crucial for me. I think because of that, when I just came to Bombay, I started working.
Yeah.
And I think that was, again, one more motivation of building something is because I just never wanted to, depend on anyone else. Of course, Gen Z behavior. I don't want any boss above me at the same time, but that was not the only motivation. The only motivation was that though I come from a very privileged family and, they provide for everything, but I wanted to have a taste of providing for myself
Yeah.
way before graduating. And I think that is why we started, introducing a lot of segments in Smash.
Right.
At the same time, I started taking a lot of freelance projects. I worked with a lot of brands. Because of that, I think I got into WPP, which is still a dream for a lot of
Yeah.
people because it's the global giant, it's Ogilvy, it's
Yeah.
WPP in general. So I think because of all of this growth that she has been, listening to on the call itself, she has started loving me. I think she always loved me, but
Yeah.
she started respecting me more.
Yeah.
And I feel like she still treats me as a child. If I tell her that I'm going out at 2, she'll still scold me to come back home. But I think that solely comes from that motherly love.
Motherly. Yeah. It's
But
just,
other than that, I think she has started respecting me a lot. I never thought that she respected me back at my hometown. But now that she has seen me,
yeah.
doing everything on my own, managing to do it on my own to start with, it has changed the dynamics between
Yeah.
us a lot.
And in a good way.
Of course, in a good way.
Yeah, and I think that's very necessary for families also to understand that, yeah, your child is growing. Your child has grown. They will grow. Probably not exactly how you thought, but it is going to happen. And I think living away also gives them the time to understand and, really cope with it. That, okay, this is going to happen. It has happened for the good. They are doing things out there. They will always worry. They will always worry,
course.
sure. And it's
That's
okay,
what
parents.
parents are.
Yeah, you do that, please. Just don't put a stop at things for us just because you're worrying. And I think that's something even my parents learned. Ki, okay, fine, we will worry. But we also trust. They became more trusting that, okay, we trust that, yeah, you will get through it. you'll figure shit out. You need anything, we are always here, always. But if you want to figure it out, give it a yay on your own, go ahead, do it. Whenever you need, we are here. So I think that is something that only came in my parents after I moved out and started doing things on my own. And yeah, I think it's a learning arc for the both of the parties. We grow and so do they. And I think that's beautiful. I don't think that would have
parents also
happened.
grow because
Yeah.
I think for 10-20 years they make their whole lives about their children, which I also felt bad about.
Yeah.
And I think parents also learn to live again when
Right.
their kids go out.
True.
Though they feel bad about, they keep missing their children. They feel wo khalipan lag raha hai ghar mein. I remember my mama used to tell me
Always, yeah.
that ghar khali
The
lag
house
raha
is
hai.
too quiet now.
Yeah, no one is there to scream. No
Yeah.
one is waking up at 2 telling I want to eat Maggie or something. But at the same time, I think she has started loving herself
Yeah.
more. She has healed in a way that would have never have been possible if I was there.
Yeah.
Because she would have never gotten time to sit with herself. So parents, I think in general, when children move abroad or children move to another city, they start reinventing themselves. They
Yeah.
start understanding themselves more, and they make peace with the fact that okay, even though our children are away from us, the love does not fade; it grows.
True.
It pounds, of course.
I would like to come back to how becoming this person today has helped you in your journey as an entrepreneur. Do you think you would have been an entrepreneur if you hadn't left your home?
No, I don't think so because when I came to the city, I kind of started understanding my love for building.
Yeah.
And before that, I think I did not explore myself enough. I think I mentioned that earlier as well, that I started exploring myself when I came to Bombay. And not only about Bombay in general, when I started my college. So honestly, I had no college life. Not to sound all glamorous and fancy, it's just that I had to compromise
Yeah.
either to build something or to have the college life. And I chose to build Smash.
Yeah.
I did not have a college life. I did not attend any fancy fest, or I've never been a part of those. And I'm very satisfied. I mean, like, you have to sacrifice something to get something, right? This has been the law for anything that you have wanted. So honestly, I started developing this hunger of building something with Smash, bringing it to that level that like people actually recognize it, understand the core value of why it has been brought up. There have been days where I have not slept, and there have been a lot of times that I have compromised on like going out or
Yeah.
living that young life. You will never be this young. I think a lot of people try to pull me down to that propaganda that you will never be this young. Why are you working so hard? You should be doing that, you should be doing that. So like on the professional level as well, I have done pretty much a lot of internships. I've done like 8 to 9 internships. I've worked with some big brands as a freelancer, and now I have podcasts as well, which technically is not just the podcast. Internally, we work with productions and the companies and a lot of things. While I was building all of this up together, I never got time to actually experience that, I'm young, I'm carefree, of course, I can make my mistakes because right now is the right time to take all the risk and right time to actually understand what you can do. Because of course, when I turn 25 or when I turn 28, that risk appetite will be very less, because at that time I will have a family, I will have a lot of responsibilities. Of course, I will have to get married, or maybe after some time I will have to like give a birth to a baby. So there will be a lot of responsibilities on my head. I have to earn. I cannot have that risk appetite that much जो मेरा अभी है. Right now I do have some backing. I can lose. If in case I lost my job or I lost everything that I have with Smash, I can build it over again.
Yeah.
So I think because of that, I had that motivation कि okay, chalo, let's start something. Let's see where it goes. And I think that worked really well for me.
Yeah.
I don't know about others, but one thing that you really need to do is believe.
Sneha, you said you have missed out on your college life and you do not regret that.
Of course.
And I think that's a part of being a young entrepreneur. You have to pick something. While it's not, do you think it's something every entrepreneur needs to do? That, okay, yeah, skip your college and then choose between your college or your entrepreneurship or your startup? Or you think there is also, it's a preference thing?
Of course. See, honestly, I think when you are an entrepreneur, the race is never the same. I mean, everyone comes from a different background, different resources. did not come with any resources, but I think that is also one more concept I relate to when it comes to competition, because of course we have such a huge competition in this market right now, because every second or third house has a startup owner or person doing some or the other thing, and they're doing it in such a fantastic way. I mean, like half of our GDP contribution is from the startups. But at the same time, I feel that not everyone's journey is same, because not everyone's starting point is same.
Correct.
So because of that, if you are planning to build something, if you are really serious about building something, then one thing that you need to drop is your comfort zone. If you are a person that I need 12 hours of my sleep, I need my lunch on time, I need my breakfast on time, I need my dinner on time, I don't work on weekends, I need minimum 1 month of vacation, then I'm sorry, this is not the thing that you will be suitable for, because building something builds you as well, from top, bottom and right. You will be comfortable, you will be miserable, the numbers will be bad, the numbers will be great. All you have to remind yourself is to be humble, because that is very important. Because there are days when your numbers are going to be great, there are days when things are not going good, but you still have to survive on that last paycheck. There are days when you will have zero motivation of standing up again and talking to the team and aligning everything, and there are days when you are left alone. You either have the option of quitting. I think quitting is one option that you always have, and a lot of people do that. I think most of the startup owners start startup for the shock of I want to own something, for the sake of ownership, but the dropouts are even more. If you see at the percentages, जो successful podcasters हैं, mostly 10 episodes, 20 episodes maximum. After that they drop. And honestly, though we identify ourselves as a podcast, we don't exactly are podcast. Like what exactly we are building is not just a podcast. It's more of a media house. It's more of a service that we're trying to build. So it's very important for you to understand to be vulnerable. It's very important for you to understand to be uncomfortable with yourself, to not work according to your plans. So usually whenever you are building something, you have your plan of action that okay, in an year I will be doing this, or in 5 years. That never works out. So I've always been a planner. I've always been a person who have been very particular about what I want to do in 1 year, 2 year, 5 year. But gradually I understood that this is now not how it works. You have to be a quick decision maker. कोई भी situation आपके पास कभी भी आ सकती है. You have to understand what to do, and you have to believe your gut feeling. I mean, like while you're building something, there are sadly Indian society is not that supportive, especially being a woman. Honestly, I've never felt that Indian society was very supportive of me doing something on my own, because I still date there is a lot of literacy that is lacking, a lot of awareness that is lacking, and you just have to dodge it. A lot of people take all of these things very personally. They feel that okay, just because there is a wholesome view of I won't be able to do something with this particular idea, I won't be. I remember I consulted about what we have been trying to do with Smash with couple of mentors. All of them said this will not work out. All of them said this is very generic. Now we are telling people about what we are trying to achieve from the community marketing, what we are trying to achieve with bringing the experience in the podcast. People are actually loving that idea. So I think it's all about believing your gut. It's all about knowing you will make it until you make it. So that is what has worked out for me. And of course, surrounding yourself with great people. I think I've emphasized enough on it.
Do you think as a young entrepreneur or as a young person with an idea, people are far too dismissive of it probably because you're young, especially towards Gen Zs? I think a lot of times, the society is too dismissive of Gen Z.
100%. Because I'm sorry to say, but the millennials have taken itna bad treatment, and they have always been not so vocal about it. So now that even if you're talking about the bare minimum, they feel that ki Gen Zs are asking for a lot. But what they really need to understand, it's basic. A person to talk about work-life balance is basic. You don't want your work to be your entire life. I understand that you're a businessman or you're a CEO. You want to run after the numbers because you are getting that much profit in your hand. But compared to an employee or compared to a lot of other people, I think there are certain conversations that really needs to be brought forward, and I'm glad that we as Gen Zs have brought it up. I have heard a lot of people taunting me around for asking people to be specific about their language,
Yeah.
asking people to be very specific about the tone they're using, because I personally feel it's very important. How are you going to distinguish your personal work and your professional work if the tonality, the way you work, the kind of attitude to you have towards it is not different?
Yeah.
It's not your personal venture, it's something that you are building for people. So I think the shift of attitude is very important. I think that is what I have felt.
Yeah. And have there been times when you as an entrepreneur have not been taken seriously, either by brands or by, um, I don't know, anyone who you go to for work in a professional space as being a young person, creating something and putting yourself out there professionally? Has there been times when people have not taken you seriously on a professional level itself, not just by mentors or anything, but you have built something, you
Right.
have an idea, you already have your numbers to show things, but have still not been taken seriously just because, oh, young person.
Of course. And along with young, I think being a woman also, it has
Yeah.
impacted a lot, because I very fairly remember this one conversation I was having with one of the guests who was demanding a lot for a very less commercial that he paid.
Yeah.
And there were certain requirements that a person had, and he was mistreating one of my team member. And what we tried to put forward was pretty simple, is that you have not enrolled for a particular thing and you will be not getting it. And when that guy was a very like stubborn, was not understanding the point that we were trying to make. So I got on a call, I started talking to that person, and quote unquote, I still remember when I raised my voice because he was getting out of hand. He quoted that, "Oh, are you PMSing or what?" And I felt genuinely bad that just because you are the one who is being unprofessional, you are the one who is asking for more and not paying enough, it's not fairly paid, and it is somewhere brought down to a gender role,
Yeah.
which is me being as a woman. And I genuinely felt very bad about it.
Yeah.
And along with that, I think being young, a lot of time my people are like, you're too young to understand this,
Yeah.
you're too young for this, or you're too young for that. Now
You don't
people
have
have
the
started.
relevant experience.
Of course, you don't have enough experience.
Yeah.
But what they don't understand is that some or the other way, they also started somewhere to gain that experience.
Right.
And now that there are so many young entrepreneurs coming up, but I think couple of years back, if I told people that, okay, young entrepreneurs, they would have started laughing.
Yeah.
Now that there are so many examples coming up, that it is like, highly admirable. Oh, you are just 21 and you are building this. But earlier, I think people were very regressive of this idea.
Yeah.
People were not very open to, like young people working. I still remember one person was like, "Ki, why are you doing child labor?" And I was like, the amount of ridiculous stuff I've heard people telling is that a person wants to build something from the young age. Not that my parents have, like sent me out to earn or something. My mom still date. When I just started Smash, she still date used to tell me that, first of all, she thought that I'm doing it for the sake of money. She told me that, I'm pretty much, available for you. If in case you need money, you can ask
Yeah.
for me. But it was more than that. I think my mother, also being a millennial, couldn't understand the whole concept of doing something of your own, building something of your own, not because you're obliged to do it, just because you want to do it. Because I think millennials have always worked in a very structured way. I think Gen Zs are very unstructured.
Yeah.
One day they will say this, the other day they will say they're very uncertain, which will not always be the positive thing, but sometimes it can be a positive thing. You don't have to navigate your life in a particular way. It should not always be very linear.
Yeah.
Whatever works out for you, do it. If it does not work out for you, quit it. So I think this is one thing that people are not very regressive about.
Yeah. And when you say that, okay, you're building a startup, how do you think that Smash sets your startup apart from just being a podcast and being an entrepreneurial startup?
I think very important question. I think from the last half an hour, I've been telling that no, we are a podcast, but at the same time, I'm telling that we are an entrepreneur. So I'll explain it to you. So basically, when we first started this whole thing, Smash, it was specifically only about the podcast. And we thought that a guest is gonna come, we're gonna take the podcast, and that person is gonna go. That was it. But gradually, I personally also come from a branding background. So on the professional level, I work with brands. I work with JSW. I work with Tatas. I work with Mahindras. So because of that, I thought, why not to utilize that creativity that I have for the branding and utilize it in building something different when it comes to the podcast industry. Because one thing that I genuinely hated about the podcast industry is that if you see all the podcasts, established podcasts, it's very exclusive. And a podcast was never meant to be exclusive.
Yeah.
It was always meant to be inclusive. What differentiates a podcast to an interview is that interview is very formal, it's very rigid, but the podcast is very free flowing. It's very conversational. So because of that, I thought that I don't only need to hear struggles of star kid who couldn't get their avocado toast on their plates. I actually need to hear stories of people who are building something on their own, who have no backing from their parents or any kind of investors, the big fancy investors who have invested, I think, in 80% of the young entrepreneur startups. So I wanted to bring their stories out as well. I wanted to tell about the real struggle, not a structured struggle that, okay, Papa, I want to do something. Papa is bringing you the resources. You're doing something, then you're getting all the media because, of course, your Papa has all the connections in the media. And that's it. And you feel that you are a successful person. But what you really need to understand is a successful person is a person who has built everything from the scratch.
Yeah.
So I think that is one thing that I genuinely wanted to bring forward. And because of that, we started experimenting a lot with branding.
Right.
And we got in a very interesting concept of experiential marketing. So what I think this took a lot of R&D for a couple of months, I think for 6 and 8 months. And then we came up with a very new and fresh concept is that if a guest is coming in on board, we'll take a podcast, of course. But the podcast which is taken is from a very branding point of view.
Yeah.
If you are coming up to me and you're telling me that, okay, Sneha, I am doing this content creation or I am working as a freelancer, I want to give a podcast. We'll make sure that we are covering things that tell people about you, what you are doing, and strengthen your personal brand. At the same time, if you are an early stage founder, you come up to us, you tell us about what you have been building. We'll make sure that we are covering up all the things that your product is solving, all the things that your service is solving, and we'll make sure that it goes to the right TG, because that is very important. What is the sense of doing a podcast, which is a huge content funnel, if you're not able to divert it in proper funnels? So I think that is one thing we were very clear about. And then we started experimenting with it, and that is what we did is when a guest used to come, we used to take a pod, the person used to go, but that was not it.
Yeah.
We used to leverage a community and we started taking in brands. We started making an experience around what that person has actually spoken about. So once the podcast is shot, once the podcast is already posted, we tell people that, okay, this is XYZ person owning XYZ brand. And this is the kind of experience, be it a webinar, be it a live event or any sort of workshop integration. We used to make that happen. And that has actually worked out.
Yeah.
Because earlier, I think community marketing was not that big. Luckily, we have been building it from last 2 years, but now it has become very big.
Yeah.
People are ditching creators and people are looking for community, or people are looking for people who have hands-on experience for their product, who have hands-on experience on what services they need.
Right.
So I think that has worked really well for us. So basically what Smash currently does is we do podcasts from a very branding perspective. We give your personal brand or your professional or your product or your service brand a very experiential marketing touch. We have the resources, we have everything. At the same time, we have also come up with different IPs in the last couple of months. So this is what we do in Smash Podcast. But at the same time, we also have Smash Productions. So mostly our guests are usually the early stage founders, creators, event organizers, all of them who are very production heavy, who needs production on daily basis.
Yeah.
So we kind of, give out our services to them. At the same time, we have Smash Hires as well. When we say that we are, uplifting a community, I just don't want it to be a space for only people to come, chill and go.
Yeah.
I want people to also take away. So at the same time, a lot of people started, DMing us that, we just shifted to Bombay and we would love to explore different jobs and different opportunities, be it the freelance gigs or anything. So we started affiliating with a lot of companies. So currently we have a huge funnel of companies working with us. What we do is whoever comes in our community, we give them to those companies and that totally comes under the Smash IOs, which
Yeah.
is entirely taken care by a Hive job placement consultancy, which we are affiliated with because they are like the proper manpower agency.
Right.
But that is something that I wanted to do for the community as well, and it is benefiting everyone as well. The company want to, like reduce their working hours. They want to reduce their headache. They're giving it to us. We, on the other hand, are uplifting our community members. We are sending it to the different companies. So I think that has also massively worked out for us. And alongside, we have different 8 BTL agencies working with us. We also have influencer marketing agency working for us.
Yeah.
So I think in a nutshell, I think if you say that what I'm trying to build in couple of years is that what I'm trying to build is a media house. Not just a podcast, not just a production, not just something digital.
Yeah.
Something which is a space for everyone, specifically Gen Zs, because this is a curated space for you guys. But at the same time, we are producing content as well. We are affiliating with companies as well. So I think this is what I have in mind till now.
Yeah.
This is what sets Smash apart from other podcasts, because other podcasts usually do it from the content funnel point of view, but we do it purely for the sake of like converting it in a media house in couple of years.
So it comes from a place where you identified a gap and then you came up with something, which is something I think you spoke earlier also, that
Right.
people don't need to create a problem, but they need to identify an existing problem and then create solution for that. Okay, so since you've been doing this for so long and you're doing it well and you have identified your problems, you've identified what solution you want to provide. Apart from this, what is that one piece of advice or some couple of advices, whatever you feel, if you have more than one, be our guest, you would want the Gen Zs or the youth of today who are looking to get into this, build something of their own, what would you want to leave for them, like a message out there?
I think more than an advice, I think I would want to break some propagandas that we have been sold.
Yeah.
One of which is you have to be boring to be ambitious and successful, which is the most ridiculous one to me, because
Yeah.
I equally am a very cheerful, bubbly person who goes out to party, who goes to different cafes. Not that I have a very dull life, not that, of course, I have to prioritize everything and I have to balance things out. But please don't fall into this trap of, you have to make your life very boring to build something great. Of course, there are going to be numerous days when you cannot have a social life, and that is the disadvantage or advantage. I don't know what you will identify it as. For me, it is advantage because I love what I do. But kind of a disadvantage that you will not be able to, live your life to the fullest till the time your thing is doing well.
Yeah.
Now I know that Smash is doing good. I have people who are taking care of it. I have Manvi. I think one person without whom Smash is nothing is Manvi and Kalp. So I have those two people. I know that everything is working fantastically. Though all the time they keep calling me and asking me that, something went wrong or something happened, which is a justified thing. But I feel like you can enjoy your life.
Yeah.
You don't have to completely be guilty about. So a lot of people are like, building something, and whenever they give themselves the freedom to enjoy something, they feel very guilty.
Yeah.
That, oh, I'm not spending much time. No, I think you are equally responsible for your own happiness as well, other than the venture that you're building.
Right.
So go out, have fun, keep a balance. I think balance is the crucial thing. I think
Yeah.
one thing that I have been very disciplined about is the balance.
Yeah.
I've been very, very, very regressive. Sorry, I've been very particular about if I want to go out, then I have not let anything about Smash bother me. But if I have something of Smash, even if it's wedding of someone of my family, I won't go. So drawing your boundaries, understanding a balance of how to, manage your personal and the professional life is important. This is the first advice or a propaganda I would like to break. Second is, of course, one more point that I said mid-conversation is that please don't create problems. There are already existing problems in the society, in the industry. Identify a problem. Take time. Don't hurry. Take time. Understand a problem. See what you can do well. I mean, if I would have done something in finance or something, I'm very sure that I would have failed, because that is not my forte. I love to talk. I love to engage with people. I love to network to start with. I think that is the pillar of starting a podcast. Because of that, I could understand, okay, these three are my strengths. These three are the crucial thing that I would need to build a media house. and I'm going to leverage it.
Yeah.
So understand your strength. Don't go behind the money. I think a lot of people do this, that fintech startups में बहुत पैसा है और ये सब like ventures में बहुत पैसा है.
Yeah.
Don't do that. Understand what you have been doing. Understand what you love to do. And I think when you start doing something, or when you start building something which stems out from your own curiosity, or which stems out from your own passion, then I think it's more sustainable.
Yeah.
1-2 साल में बंद नहीं हो जाएगा. You know that you love it. You know that you can take it to different heights, and not for the sake of starting it, for the sake of actually getting it on a different level.
Yeah.
I think that is the second advice I would say. And third, surround yourself with best kind of people. I think one thing that has made Bombay my home, one thing that has made Smash successful, is I have always attended great events. I have always snatched the opportunities of, like, I've actually posed couple of people. Earlier, I never used to get invites to a lot of events.
Yeah.
I've went around people, please give me invite for this event. I would love to do. So don't be shy. Talk to everyone. Don't be embarrassed of doing something. I have done pretty much a lot of embarrassing stuff, but I'm not regretful of any of them. I've ran around people to give me invites for events. Now, on face, I get invites. So that does not happen overnight, right?
Yeah.
You have to do embarrassing shit. So do the embarrassing stuff. Do whatever you feel is right, and eventually you will get there. I think last would be identifying what kind of people can do what task. I think one thing that I have genuinely struggled in Smash with is understanding what person can do what, because there have been people who came up with great resumes, with great positions, who have done XYZ things, they have great achievements, but they were not able to do things that we expected them to do.
Yeah.
So I think placing people, I think if you are the core of what you're building, you need to understand that you alone cannot run anything.
Yeah.
That is very important. I think for 1 year straight, I thought that I am the core person. I can do everything by myself. But gradually I started understanding that I have to hire people.
Yeah.
I have to keep people to, like, manage social media. I have to keep people to manage companies. I have to keep people to manage the shoots and all. I cannot do single-handed. Keeping the right people, placing the right people in right position is very crucial. Paying them the right amount is also very crucial, because me being a student, now that I have started earning good with Smash, but earlier it was very tight for us to pay someone the right amount. So earlier we were like, we'll pay him. If a person is asking for 5, we used to pay him 2. That is, I feel it's a very wrong practice, because if a person is asking for something, keep less people, keep only one person, but pay him right. I think that is very important, because for small startups or very unstructured startups now, it is very important for the person to stay motivated.
Yeah.
And money is a very big motivation factor.
True.
अगर आप 5 लोग 2,000 में रख रहे हो, and if you are only keeping one person for 7,000 or 8,000, that one person is gonna give you more productivity than those 4 people, because you are paying that person right, and there is a huge possibility कि वो 5 लोग छोड़ देंगे after 2 to 3 months. I think that is what I have understood. So it's like I have a very small team. I have 3 to 4 people, but I make sure that they are getting their commissions on time.
Yeah.
I make sure they are getting their money on time, because at the end of the day, passion is important. Passion is something that I have had, and that is what Smash has always been my passion. But you cannot expect if anyone is working in your venture that they should also have the same passion towards it.
Right.
What you have to understand is money is a major factor for them.
Right.
For you, it might be the secondary factor, but for them, it is a major factor.
Correct.
We are living in Bombay. It's expensive. They have their own expenses. They're putting in that much energy. They're putting in that much skill set. So I think pay people right, and I think that's pretty much it.
Yeah, I think that's a wonderful, wonderful list of advice. And I don't know, take it as an advice, take it as whatever you want to call it. But it is, I think, very, very helpful, very important for entrepreneurs, people who are learning to or trying to build something of their own. And if you are someone who is doing that, please, I hope this podcast has helped you, and understand yourself better, like she said. Work on your things, put in a lot of passion, keep a balance. Summing it all up, please hear the whole thing as well. Just summing it up for the
I think
outro.
more important, put yourself out of your comfort zone and break your bubble.
Break your
That
bubble.
is very important.
Yes, you will have to push yourself out of the comfort zone. And I think I would want to leave you people on that note. Please get a little less comfortable, but in a good way. In a good way. That was wonderful, Sneha. Thank you so much for being on the podcast and helping us with your journey and, opening up about things that I think everyone needs to hear out there. And if you guys liked the podcast and took something from this, I know I have. Don't forget to like, comment, share this with your friends and family. There's no right age to start, right? So whoever wants to share this as much as you want can. And don't forget to subscribe our channel and also hit the bell icon so you are always notified of another episode. So on that note, stay tuned for the next episode, and yeah, I'll see you then. Bye.